Ever since D-Day, the Allies had been steadily pushing the German army back across France. Now, in December, they were moving into Germany. And Americans at home could dream of an imminent end to the war. Many GIs on the front line felt that they could relax a little, and that the German army was finally done for. But those hopes were dashed when the German army launched a last desperate offensive. Their objective was to drive through the American lines to Antwerp and divide the Allied armies. The Wehrmacht sent 400,000 soldiers and 1,800 tanks through the Ardennes forest into France and Belgium. It was such a desperate plan that the armored divisions were given just 3 days' worth of gasoline for a campaign expected to last 6 days. The Germans planned to take the rest of their gas from the Americans. The force that broke out of the woods on December 16th threw the American army back for miles. GIs hurriedly destroyed their gas supplies to prevent them from falling into German hands. Some orderly retreats became panicked flight when soldiers heard the news that an American convoy had been overtaken by German tanks, and 70 GIs taken prisoner were gunned down by SS troops. The Germans swept past everything, but ran into stubborn resistance in the middle of their Belgian assault at the town of Bastogne. There, members of the 101st Airborne dug in and set up icy defense lines around their forces. By December 20th, the Americans in Bastogne were surrounded. When the 101st's commanding general, Anthony McAuliffe, heard that he was ringed by the German army, he said, "Good, now we can attack in any direction." For 7 days, as their ammunition supply shrank, his troops withstood a German siege. Reinforcements were rushed to Bastogne before the 101st could be overrun. The German commander sent a note to McAuliffe demanding he surrender his forces. Never at a loss for words, McAuliffe replied, "Nuts." An adjutant explained to a puzzled German officer the general meant, "Go to hell." The Germans launched a new attack the next morning, but met stiff resistance from the half-frozen Americans. Meanwhile, the cloud cover finally broke, and American bombers began to rain destruction on the German forces and to drop supplies to the GIs. 2 days after Christmas, the siege was lifted. Exhausted and starved, German soldiers began surrendering. By January, the Allies had regained their original positions. The Battle of the Bulge cost America 75,000 casualties. German losses were 80,000, and those Germans who survived could now clearly see the future only held defeat for Germany. This video is brought to you by the Saturday Evening Post Digital Archives. Saturday Evening Post members can explore our 200-year-old archive for only $15 a year. Subscribe today.